What's going on, guys? My name is Wade with TechDaily. So check this out. This is a 75-inch Samsung TV, and this is a 110-inch cinema quality projection. I really have no idea why anyone still buys regular TVs nowadays when something this crazy exists. This is the new Cinema Edge ALPD laser TV from 4Movie. And I know TV is kind of in its name, but this is so far from the traditional static sub 100-inch televisions you might already have throughout your home. This isn't just a replacement for those. This is an entirely different experience for your living room, bedroom, or home theater setup. If you aren't familiar with the 4Movie brand, they certainly aren't new to this space. Their products are a joint venture between Xiaomi and Appotronics, one of the largest companies in the laser cinema space. And they've launched a couple different cinema quality ultra short throw projectors over the last few years. Ultra short throw projectors allow you to have this massive size projection screen from an ultra short distance, obviously. And to me, this is what makes this setup so great. The Cinema Edge has a throw ratio of just 0.23 to 1, meaning that if you need to have the projector positioned as close as 5 inches from the wall, you're still going to get an 80-inch screen. And if you have about 20 inches of space from the wall, you can max this out at, I kid you not, a 150-inch projection. Nowhere near any size TV you could buy today at a reasonable price. Speaking of the price, the Cinema Edge is $300 off right now, which puts it at just a bit more than $2,000. I'll leave a link to 4Movie's website down below in the video description if you want to check that out. I realize it isn't peanuts, but when you factor in the convenience and ease of use, the features, and the potential screen size for something like this, I mean, TVs don't even exist larger than about 108 inches right now, so it's almost impossible to even compare. Now, 4Movie was kind enough to send me this projector prior to the official launch a few weeks ago so I could test it out, and also sponsored this video. And since having it in my living room and basically ditching what was a pretty decent sized TV in the process, I've really been enjoying it. The setup process for the Cinema Edge is super simple. It's basically plug and play with no additional dongles or cables necessary. It's got Google TV built in and it's Netflix certified. So you have all your apps ready to go at your fingertips with nothing more than the power cable and a Wi-Fi connection required. Not only that, the entire front of this thing is basically a mini soundbar with dual 15-watt Dolby Audio certified speakers that are the cherry on top to this all-in-one cinema setup. Size-wise, the Cinema Edge is like 18 inches across and 12 inches deep, so it easily fits on most TV consoles, cabinets, small tables, and hopefully you can see that with the size of the projection I have here, it's maybe 6 or 7 inches from the wall at most, which is pretty much perfect. Around back, in addition to the power plug, you do actually have a ton of different inputs you can utilize. There's 3 HDMI inputs, including eARC, 2 USB-A, a 3.5mm audio line out, optical audio, and an Ethernet port. So if you wanted to, say, connect up a game console or an Apple TV or some other streaming stick, or set up a surround sound speaker system with this, you absolutely could. But I think most people are still going to enjoy the fact that you can use this projector by itself and get all the familiar apps and features you'd want out of it. The projector also ships with its own remote, which is nice. It's got dedicated Netflix and YouTube buttons and voice control. It's big, it's easy to use, and as far as the software and UI, like I said, it's Google TV. So if you've used practically any other standard internet-connected television from like the last 10 years, or an Android device or a tablet, you'll pretty much feel right at home. The UI is fast, it's familiar, it's responsive, and you literally have like 24 of the most popular streaming apps pre-installed with the ability to add any others that you want. There's live TV as well. It's pretty much the all-in-one entertainment hub. Now let's talk picture quality. And the first thing I want to say is that to get the best projection image possible with something like this, I would highly recommend adding an ALR or ambient light reflecting screen to your setup, either mounted on the wall or one of those floor rising ones. 4Movie sells both, and the screen helps cut down the light reflection on the ceiling and surrounding walls and gives you a smooth backdrop, as opposed to like the orange peel texture on a wall. But even if you don't want to do all that, and you just prefer to use a big old blank wall like I have here, the projection is still going to look really great. When you first slide the Cinema Edge into place, you'll have the ability to tilt the entire unit up or down just slightly using a couple feet adjustments underneath. And you can also do some bigger keystone and focus corrections in the settings. The keystone corrections can be simple or precise with multi-point adjustments, and the focus can be tweaked by dozens of notches to really dial in the best possible resolution. And with everything tweaked just right, the Cinema Edge gives you a crispy 4K UHD resolution picture, which even at well over 100 inches looks very sharp from a normal movie watching distance. The ALPD laser works some pixel shifting magic to achieve that resolution and a 3001 contrast ratio. It tops out at 1900 isolumens of brightness, so in a pitch dark room like I have here, it's obviously very bright. But even if you need to have a dim lamp on to see your snacks or set some mood lighting to get the moment right, you're still going to have a bright and easily viewable picture. It's right on the cusp of being bright enough for daylight viewing, but I would recommend no more than a single window or two in any room you have this set up in. One of the big perks of having a short throw laser projector like this one, as opposed to a traditional long throw lamp powered one, is that the image you get here is significantly more colorful, with better contrast and far better range between the light bright whites and yellows and deep dark blacks and shadows that tend to get washed out. The Cinema Edge offers a really well-balanced default color profile out of the box that I had no issue with personally, but you can switch between a few different preset image profiles and settings or tweak the picture precisely to however you'd like. There's color, contrast, brightness, and sharpness toggles, amongst some other more in-depth adjustments you can make in the advanced settings. But I really didn't feel that any major adjustments were necessary. The Cinema Edge really gives you a great looking picture that's punchy without looking overdone or oversaturated. The black spots, shadows, and other dark areas actually look correct, as opposed to looking like blue or gray or sometimes completely lost. And the brightest areas on screen are almost never blown out. It's a great balance of high contrast and low compromise that makes whatever you're watching look not only accurate, but really quite good. Visually, the projector also supports MEMC to give you a smoother, less choppy look with sports and other high action content. And there's an automatic low latency mode for gaming too, though I unfortunately don't have a game console to test myself. And to pair with that massive projection screen, 4Movie's dual 15-watt speakers produce one heck of a sound. They're full-range, hi-fi speakers with Dolby Audio support, and I personally feel like they're good enough to use on their own. I mean, I usually listen to the projector at like 25 pips of volume, and that's plenty. It gets very loud beyond that, and it still sounds good.
And Formula One goes racing on the streets. Good reaction time for our pole sitter. Charles Leclerc has the lead into turn number 1. Oscar Piastri is second. There was a lockup for Sergio Perez, but he wasn't able to take third place away.
To show the way, yeah, I was a heartbeat with no sound till you came around. Yeah, you showed me colors, light in the darkness. You were the only thing I needed.
But like I mentioned earlier, you have a few options for adding your own external audio or surround sound setup if you want to. I personally feel that a higher end, ultra short throw projector like 4Movie's Cinema Edge is a great TV alternative for folks who want maybe a cinema-like home theater setup, but don't want to mess with any over-the-top hardware, complicated setups, or overpriced systems. I mean, literally with a small cabinet or console, a power plug, and a wall that's big enough, you can get a 150-inch movie theater screen in your home, and you don't need to do anything else but plug the darn thing in. That's pretty freaking cool if you ask me. And it's no surprise that these UHD projectors have gotten so popular in the last 2 or 3 years. This is the sort of setup that really would wow just about anyone who sees it. So there you go, that's 4Movie's new Cinema Edge ALPD laser TV. What do you guys think of this thing? Would you want to have this sort of setup in your own home? Let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts, of course. And also let me know what movie or TV show you'd like to watch on this thing. Come on over for a movie night sometime if you want. But hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. Be sure to follow TechDaily on Twitter and subscribe to the TechDaily YouTube channel if you haven't already. And I'll see you guys later.